A Summary of Learning for Contemporary Issues in Educational Technology, Class EC&I 830 by Nicole Reeve. The world is consumed by technology, and like anything else, there comes controversy. Technology has a lot of power, but there can also be a lot that can go wrong. When we think about education and we think about technology, our kids are what should come first. So, what are we doing in schools to prepare them to be able to navigate the world of technology that they're living in? Should we leave it out of schools? Should we bring it into schools? What rights do they have? What rights do we have? Let's think about that. Technology in the classroom enhances learning was the first topic that we tackled in our class this semester. I have to agree that it does. However, we'd have to be fairly naive to think that it also hasn't provided some issues and concerns that we as educators need to think about when we're working towards incorporating it into the lives of our kids in their classrooms. So what does that look like? Throughout this semester, I think one of the key words that came up over and over throughout our debates was balance. How do we take technology and classrooms, put them together, and make sure that we're giving our kids everything that they need to be prepared for their future? Like I said, I think balance is the key. The integration of technology into our world has been powerful. We can now access information in a matter of seconds through our phones while sitting at grocery store. It's easy, it's quick, it's fast, but what do we need to know in order to be able to find that information? Yes, it's there, but we have to know how to find it, what to do, what questions to ask, and where to look. So how are schools preparing kids for the Google generation? The idea or the fear behind the teacher becoming obsolete when we talk about technology in education, I think is a little bit misinformed. We will always need teachers. Teachers are more so guides now than they are facilitators of information. We have the power to teach our students how to ask questions, find information, and work towards coming up with solutions to questions that they have. It's a matter of preparing them to know how to ask those rather than just giving them information. The debate about openness and sharing in schools being unfair to our kids was one that I felt most passionate about. I think we need to be teaching our kids how to engage in social media, but we also have a responsibility to understand that they have a right to privacy and that their families may wish to not have them being online and sharing in a specific way, and we need to respect that and honor that choice that they have. Privacy and choice are something that should be valued and are very important, and I wouldn't want to change that for any student of mine. But what I think is concerning is that we have some schools who are completely removing social media from their school environments or classroom environments, and I struggle with our kids not being prepared for knowing how to navigate that world and not understanding the conversation around digital citizenship. I think more and more we're seeing some people choose to not engage in the world of social media, but the reality is the majority of people do engage in social media. So if we are removing it from our schools and kind of telling our kids, hey, this is something bad, and we're not teaching them about it, we are going to have a generation of confused individuals who don't know how to make appropriate, responsible choices on something like social media. We need to prepare them for that world. Our debate certainly went in order this semester because our previous conversation about whether it's fair or unfair to be sharing in schools, and the next conversation was about social media being responsible for ruining childhood. And I certainly sat on one side of this debate, and I completely disagree that it is ruining childhood. What I think is ruining childhood is a lack of education around social media. Social media gets a bad rap, and I think that's our fault. We let social media become a place where people vent, talk down to others, and are disrespectful. And that's easy to see on any comment forum or anything like that when we're on social media. So instead of blaming social media, perhaps we need to blame the behaviors that we're seeing and take a more proactive approach rather than a reactive approach. It was fairly clear to see that I fell on a definite side of all the debates at the beginning of the semester. However, the last one threw me for a loop when we talked about technology being a force for equity in society. What does equity mean? What does that look like? I really wasn't sure, and I definitely sat on the fence as to what I thought, where I thought we should go with this one, but I came to a little bit of a conclusion. I think that technology can be a force for equity in society, but we need to remember the human element, especially when we're talking about technology in classrooms. We need to be flexible, and I think that's the key. I think we need to know that it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the education, and it's about working with our students to help them see the power behind learning about technology and how to use it. This semester, every week, I felt like I was thinking, rethinking, readjusting, and changing what I thought I already knew. And I guess that's the power of learning, right? So, my one big takeaway from this semester was, how do we work to create balance when we're talking about technology in the classroom? What does that look like? How do we educate ourselves? How do we educate our students? And how do we keep moving that forward to create a balanced approach? Thanks to my classmates for a wonderful and informed semester. Thanks again to Alec for another great class filled with thought-provoking conversations and interesting assignments. I created this presentation using Adobe Spark. All the images are from either Adobe Spark or a screenshot from my own personal blog.